Hello and welcome. Today's free lesson on this YouTube channel is going to be about politics. Might be a bit boring for some of you, sorry if it is, but it is important, isn't it? So I thought I might as well give it a go. And politics varies, I think, from country to country. So a main objective of this lesson is to give you an introduction into how British politics works and many of the main parties and figures. Please see the notes in the description on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, and read along with me if you want to. I've put the main points there. Right now we have a government in power, and it's a coalition government, which means that there are two parties, but the main party really is the Conservatives, also known as the Tories. Their leader and our Prime Minister is David Cameron. And the Chancellor of the Exchequer, that's the title for the politician in charge of the economy basically, is George Osborne. They are joined with the Liberal Democrats. And their leader and our Deputy Prime Minister is Nick Clegg. As I mentioned, this is a coalition government. Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats. The Conservatives got by far the biggest proportion of the votes, so they make up the majority of the politicians in the government. The three that I already mentioned, David Cameron, the Prime Minister, Nick Clegg, the Deputy, George Osborne, Chancellor of the Exchequer. Two of those are Conservatives, and then two others are Conservative as well. William Hague is our Foreign Secretary, so you might hear about him in other countries where you're living because he's the politician who is in charge of foreign affairs. Our Home Secretary is a lady called Theresa May. That means the lady who looks after domestic affairs. The main opposition is, of course, the Labour Party. Their leader is Ed Miliband, and their Shadow Chancellor is Ed Balls. What does that mean, Shadow Chancellor? Well, the opposition, they have to have a politician for each position in the government, and they're called the Shadow Cabinet. So Ed Balls is the Shadow Chancellor, corresponds to George Osborne, who's the Chancellor of the Exchequer. We have three main parties in the UK, the three that I have already mentioned. Here are a few more. UKIP have been in the news a lot recently. They are gaining popularity. They are against immigration, the EU and Europe in general. Their leader is Nigel Farage. The BNP, the British National Party, I believe, are a very minor party. They are largely fascist and kind of similar to the old Nazis, the BNP, but don't worry about them. They were quite popular, well, not popular, but there was a lot of news about them before the last election, but no one cares about them now. Socialists refers to people who are on what we call the extreme left. They believe that education should be free for everyone, that kind of stuff. Independents, there are some politicians who are in power who do not belong to any of the parties, and they run as independents. It means they are by themselves. More details about British politics. We have about 650 areas the country is divided into for political reasons. Each one is called a constituency. And how it works is that each constituency votes in a member of Parliament, an MP. In the general election, every constituency contributes one MP. So if you are a voter here, you are voting only for your area. It can become quite difficult to choose, I believe, because maybe you agree with the policies of one party, yet you like an MP in your constituency from a different party. So who do you vote for? I think that's an interesting conundrum. Now, the winning party has to get at least, I think the number is 312 MPs elected to win the election outright. And that means that they have to win in 312 constituencies at least. The Conservatives didn't do that, you see, that's why there's a coalition. They got less than that. I think they got 306, which is close, but they are not allowed to be the government by themselves, so they had to ask the Liberal Democrats to join them so that their number went over 312. And our general elections are every 5 years. A couple of political concepts. We say right-wing or left-wing here. Right-wing refers to Conservatives and more extremely UKIP and BNP. Left-wing is Liberal Democrats and Socialists, Liberals basically, with Labour. Everyone argues about it now, but traditionally Labour is supposed to be near the middle but towards the left. And if you've been following, then you might ask a very good question, which is, how on earth could the Liberal Democrats join forces with the Conservatives? The Conservatives are towards the right, the Liberal Democrats are towards the left. Personally, I don't know how that's possible either. It was a decision by the politicians, but one which left many voters very angry, and they are still angry about it. Political topics which are often in the news and often are discussed. Tax, of course, it's the same for everyone, isn't it? Everyone's angry about tax all the time. Immigration, people always like to complain about immigration. The parties have different stances on it to some extent. Personally, I don't see the problem with immigration, but lots of people do. It's a very common topic. Welfare benefits. In the UK, it's called the welfare system. So, for example, if you don't work, the government pays you some money. And for various other reasons. If you have a disability, something like that, you can get money. And politicians and the public love to argue about how much people should get from the government. To do with the recession, it's been in the news in the last week or so, with the Chancellor, George Osborne, in charge of the economy. He's having a real struggle to get it under control. When we talk about the recession, things come up like savings, public spending, and cuts. This means how are they going to save money so that the country can reduce its debt? And the concepts of savings, public spending, this means how much the government spends on public things basically. And cuts refers to reductions in public spending. A reduction is a cut, that's what we say. EU and Europe. Another topic which is always on and off, whether we should be part of the EU and Europe. Those are two separate things, remember. What about Scottish independence? Something I have just thought of. It doesn't affect the English so much, but Scotland, they're talking about it all the time. They want to become an independent country from the rest of the UK. And these topics are going to be fundamental in the race for the general election in 2015. That will be our next one. Current political trends I may have already mentioned. Now, with this problem with the Liberal Democrats joining with the Conservatives, I think the main brunt of the public anger has been directed at the Liberal Democrats. Their popularity has suffered, whereas UKIP has risen. UKIP, I think I already said, they want us to get out of Europe and the EU, I think, and they also want to stop immigration. They don't win many seats at all, but we have something called local elections. In between the general elections, specific constituencies, a few of them have local elections, and UKIP have been getting quite a lot of votes recently. But I doubt that they will win many seats themselves. We call it protest vote because everyone is angry about the three main parties, so they vote for UKIP. However, I doubt that that will continue for very long. That's all about Britain. I'll mention a few things about world politics. The US president, of course, is Barack Obama. That's how we pronounce his name here. Not saying it's correct, but that's how the British pronounce it. The UK and the US, the UK is always fawning over the US. We say we have a special relationship with them. I don't know if the US feels the same way. Probably not. Certainly Barack Obama doesn't seem too close with our current government, David Cameron and George Osborne in particular. There are meetings, aren't there, of world politics. We call them G7, G8, G20. The number refers to the number of countries, and it's the topmost, the countries with the biggest economies. I think there was a G7 meeting recently. The countries with the 7 biggest economies. The UK was there, France, America, Russia, Germany, and a couple of others. You can see all the leaders smiling and waving, but Vladimir Putin was looking very angry and annoyed. I thought that was interesting. And only a couple of countries. I realise there are many more, but the ones in the news most of the time here are the political crises in Syria. That's been going on for years now, hasn't it? And more recently, Turkey. How those will be resolved, I don't know, but let's hope something gets sorted out very soon. There we are then. That is my lesson on politics. It's been a bit of a journey, but lots of information for you. I hope it was useful and helped you a bit. Thank you very much for your time and for joining me as always, and please do keep in touch for these free lessons. There's the YouTube channel. You can subscribe, watch many more already, and follow the new ones which are coming soon. And in the description you can find the links to Facebook. You can like the page, join the group, follow on Twitter, check out the main website which is learnbritishenglish.co.uk, follow also on Tumblr, and add me on Skype if you want to. You have all those options to join for more free lessons coming soon. And the next couple of videos will be about a man called William Shakespeare. You might have heard of him. And then I'm going to invite you all to another pronunciation party, I think. So please keep in touch for those. Once again, thank you for your time. Really appreciate your support. And do please keep in contact with me for more lessons coming every day, posted on the website and Facebook in particular. Take care then, and good luck with everything. Best wishes from me in the UK. I will see you next time.